there's bait here, and that's the main thing. See if we can't go 2 from 2. Oh yes, yes, got him, got him. Oh, he's a nice one too.
This week's adventure started with seemingly awesome conditions as I motored out of the marina and headed for the bay. I was going to be fishing solo today, so I was looking forward to getting out there and getting stuck into a few fish. Well, that was until I turned the corner and the real conditions presented themselves. It was going to be one windy morning.
G'day legends, and thanks for tuning in to another Sammy Hitzke fishing adventure. Well, you may notice I'm rocking around a fair bit. I'm out in Moreton Bay this morning and it is blowing an absolute gale, but that's fine because the whispers are, the word on the street is, the school mackerel are on, and they're on in numbers. So I've got a spin rod in hand, I've got the old faithful Halco Twisty rigged up, ready to rock and roll, and I'm going to be spinning the navigational beacons that litter Moreton Bay. Now they are a great spot for school mackerel, they hold plenty of bait, and as a result the mackerel flock to them. And look, weather aside, I'm hoping for a damn good day. Mackerel, the school mackerel in particular, are very, very tasty. So you can't really blame me for wanting to chalk up a couple for the table later on tonight. We are going to be battling the weather a bit, that's a given, but the weather prediction did say it's gonna calm down a little bit as the morning progresses. At this stage it doesn't really look like it, but hey, it's not that bad. I'm fishing solo too. I was meant to be fishing with a good mate of mine, Garns. Now old mate Garns, he decided, we went to the same party last night. I had just short of 2 hours sleep, and turns out he had a lot more. I think he slept through his alarm, so I'm flying solo today, so there may be a bit of rocking around and a bit of tomfoolery when it comes to landing fish and all that sort of stuff. So you'll have to forgive me there. Doing this stuff solo in the wind is a bit gnarly, but it's nothing we can't handle. The first pole I'm going to spin is behind me. Fingers crossed it's got a few fish on it. I reckon we get stuck into it, eh? Yes, got him. Got one. Oh, nice little schoolie. Nice one there. These guys, I want to jinx it, are notorious for throwing hooks. Giving me the runaround. Oh, I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna risk it. Hopefully he's hooked all right. Come back. Rightio. He's a nice one too. Alright, we're on the board. Schoolie number 1 has hit the deck. You bloody ripper. He's a nice fish too. Nice solid size. He is going to go delicious for dinner tonight, and I mean delicious. Look at that. Halco Twisty right in the corner of his mouth there. I do love a Halco Twisty. Plenty of action, plenty of flash. And yeah, look, the results speak for themselves. Now guys, handling these guys, they have razor sharp teeth and they go absolutely in the boat. They go really crazy, so the best bet, give them a dong. That kills them. And then we bleed them, so then you get the knife out. Knife in the gills. Get all that blood out. Even though half the time I swear they just cover your boat in blood. And then give them a good drain. Remember, we're keeping these fish for human consumption, so you want them to be in the best possible eating condition. From there, we chuck them straight on the ice. Cool them down, and they are going to go delicious on the barbecue tonight. And then you can clean up the mess that they make in your boat. They have a habit of flicking blood from absolute bumhole to breakfast. If you've got a deck wash, then you'll definitely be using it, I can guarantee you that. If you don't, I feel really sorry for you, because you're gonna have a hell of a cleanup job when you get home. Alright, let's do it again. Sorry if there's crap on the lens, it's going to be a constant battle today. It's the wind is up a lot more than they were predicting, but it is meant to die off, so fingers crossed that stays like that. But hey, the mackies are chewing, it's not the end of the world. We'll deal. So what I'm doing here is just, because the current's raging so much, I'm casting up ahead of the buoy here, or the navigation beacon, and just letting it sink down. So I'm trying to get the slug to kind of hit the bottom round about in line with the base of the marker, because I find a lot of the time the bait's sitting in pretty close, which in turn makes the mackerel sit pretty close. And then from there, just give it some revs on the way back. But yeah, a little bit uncomfortable at the moment. Be good if this wind does drop out like it's meant to. That'll be lovely. It's blowing about, I don't know, 12 knots, 15 knots west at the moment, so the bay has got a fair bit of fetch on it. It chops up a fair bit. It's pretty uncomfortable, but it's no real swell behind it. It's all just wind chop. So it's definitely manageable if you've got a boat with high sides. The small tinnies, it's a bit of a ride out. Another thing about this style of fishing is you don't want to hang around the same beacon for too long if there's nothing going on. There was a couple of boats pulled in just after me on this one, and I haven't seen anyone else get one. So move on to the next one and keep trying. Eventually you'll find the stronghold, and that's where you want to be fishing. So you do have to do a fair bit of boat positioning doing this style of fishing, because you want to keep in pretty good proximity to the pole. So use your motor to your advantage, put yourself in the best position, keep it in gear. Oh, we're on the bottom. Righto, what's around? Oh no, yes, yes, got him. Oh no, don't do that. Now these guys go nuts around the boat, and they love throwing hooks. Oh, he's got some mates with him. Yes, there might be a few on this one. So you can do two things: fight them long or fight them quickly and just get them in the boat. Oh, they shake hooks like no other two. Yes. That's a cracker too. Nice long fish, good condition. Now I'm gonna give him a bang on the head and get him on the ice. There's a couple more followed him up, so I want to get the lure back down there as soon as I can. Now for the sounder enthusiasts, you do use your sounding equipment a fair bit, despite the fact that you can see the poles without your sounder. What we're looking for when we go past is the big clouds of bait that the mackerel sit around. You'll actually see the mackerel arcs sitting around where the bait is. The more bait that's there, the more mackerel it's probably going to hold. So what I like to do is drive past the pole with side scan, and you'll see the pole pop up when you go past it. There it is out the side there, and I can see there's a cloud of bait on the right hand side. Now I might not be able to see the individual mackerel here because I'm using side scan, and it's a little bit harder to see from far away. You can see the clouds of bait all right, but the mackerel are a bit harder because they're singular and there's no real shadow. But what you then want to do is target your drift, so you kind of put your lure in that spot. That doesn't mean they won't travel to eat a lure. These guys are pretty mobile, they're pretty aggressive, so if they see your lure and it's 5 meters away, chances are they'll come racing up to grab it. But that's a good tip for you if you are looking for a pole to start on. Look for one that's got plenty of bait on it. Use your sounder, use your side scan, and it'll greatly improve your catches. That doesn't mean don't have a drop on the ones that aren't showing bait. I've caught plenty of schoolies on poles that haven't got a heap of bait on it. But you do think you've really hit the jackpot when you do find one with a nice big cloud of it. That's the gold medal winner when you find one of those. Jeez, this wind and chop is making it pretty hard to position the boat solo, but hey, we're getting there. We're getting there. Righto, I think that'll just about do us. Bit of R. Might get this lure down. Camera on. Yeah, there's fish on this one, so hopefully they bite again. They can shut down a bit after you pull one off them, but they can also fire right up and get excited, so we'll see which one's going to happen today. And we're on the bottom. Right, oh, yep. Oh no! No! That was straight away. Fish on straight away, missed him. Ah! Another thing that does happen, not a heap, but a bit, is you get smacked on the drop. So always be ready for one of them as well. Getting bitten off on the drop is a bit more common, but they will definitely eat it on the drop. Oh, yep, got him that time. Now these guys come in really easy, and then they see the boat and go mental, like that. But I find if you can get them in quickly, oh, now he's seen the boat. If you get them in quickly, you get a shot at landing them usually pretty fast, and then after that, if you miss that shot, they go nuts, and you end up playing them for twice as long. Now the method I'm using just to swing them in is a great way to lose fish, but solo without a net man, it's also pretty quick, and it's proven to be pretty effective at the moment. Well, that's number 3, Mackie number 3. That's pretty good going. I reckon I'll only keep probably 4 or 5 for a feed today. I only need one for myself, but I've got a couple of mates who love their fresh fish. I don't think there's too many better things out there than wild caught fish for you, so I don't mind if I'm getting a few. I don't mind sharing them with the lads and with me family. I think that's part of being a fisherman, is sharing your catch and letting other people enjoy it as well. Also lets them know how much of a good fisherman you are. You know, you need to keep reminding them every now and again, just in case they don't believe your stories. Alrighto mate, settle down. So you see how crazy these guys go once you get them in the boat. They are definitely ones to watch out for. They'll make short work of a finger or chuck a hook in you. I actually, of all days to do it, I left my big pliers at home, so I've only got my little flathead pliers, so I do have to exercise a bit of caution myself. Just always keep behind the teeth. There we go. And there you have it. A prime example of a Moreton Bay school mackerel. They are great eating, great fun, and I'll tell you what, not a bad morning activity, even if the weather is a little bit skew-if. But it's good fun. Tell you what, Garns, mate, you picked the wrong morning to sleep in, but sorry bud, had to go without you. Can't wait all day. Number 3 in the bag. Stoked. It's a healthy looking fish bag there at the moment. That one's a little bit smaller than the other two, but they're still quite good quality schoolies. They can be quite small at times, and they're not awesome, but the big ones are nice and fat, and they taste really nice. They're like a winter Spanish, or the big fat schoolies. And if you've tried a winter Spanish, you'll know they are far superior to the small lean ones. The bigger and fatter, the more flavour. Righto, let's clean up the mess. Well, have a look at that, guys. There's a school of bait sitting about 15 metres off the pole here out in the open. So that is prime for a spinning. Get that lure down, see if there's anything sitting with them. They're sitting right hard on the bottom, so they are maybe getting forced down by mackies swimming above them, or could be any number of things. But there's bait here, and that's the main thing. See if we can't go 2 from 2. Oh yes, yes, got him, got him. Oh, he's a nice one too. Oh, just a little minor steering adjustment. Oh, here he comes. Pull him into the boat, sort of. That is a cracking schoolie. That is an absolute horse schoolie. Have a go with that guy. Oh, he just chipped a bit of his tail off. Come down the back, mate. Come down the back. You ripper, that was the very next cast. How's that for a talk through? Find the bait, you'll find the mackies, and I can see the mackerel sitting above it right there. Hopefully you guys can pick that up. I'll take a screenshot and put that in the video just so you get a clear image of it. Oh, and there's more mackies there. But it is 20 past 6 and I'm up to 4. I think I'll only get 5 or 6 for myself, and I'll call it a day. This is good going. I'll be back in time for tea and scones. This is a cracking quality schoolie. It's quite a large one. See the tail there? He's actually chipped that off when he was going a bit crazy in the boat. For some reason, they seem to have like brittle tails. They snap. They don't. Oh, easy there, mate. Easy. There we go. Hook's out. That's one sharp thing gone. See if I can keep this guy alive without donging him, so you can get a proper look at him. Give him a clean. There you have it. Another cracking schoolie. Nice size, this one. Nice and fat. And I'll tell you what, for a small mackerel, they go really, really hard. They're fast. They hit hard. Just about everything you could want from a target species, and they taste great. I've got to dispatch this guy and get him bled. And he can join his mates in the ice. Now these guys here have a size limit of 50, minimum size limit of 50 centimeters. So these guys are well and truly legal, but that's something to keep in mind as well. 50 centimeters minimum size and a bag limit of 10. So I've got 4 at the moment. I'm allowed 6 more. I definitely won't be taking that today. I don't need 6, that's a lot of mackerel. But you know, if you've got a big family or you're stocking up the freezer, then by all means you're entitled to take 10 per person. Come on, 3 from 3. Oh, there's mackerel down there now. Here we go, here we go. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, I hope you saw that one just come flying up. Just missed it, right on the surface there. It might have been one of the ones we saw there. Come flying up. Hopefully they're not getting sick of it, they'll stay on the chew. But yeah, one just came flying up just under the surface, took a swipe at it, missed it by a foot or so, but he was keen. Hopefully he's got some mates on the bottom. Righto, come on. Oh yes, yes. Got him that time. Oh, he smacked it too. Oh, go son. Oh, he's got mates. He's got mates there. If you had another person like Garns, if Garns was here, I think there'd be some double hookups happening. Oh, this guy, he's primed for a swinging. Primed for a swinging. If you are going to swing him, just watch your if your lure flings out, it's not going to hit anyone. That's the one thing I will say. In we come, mate. And that is poling school mackerel. Another cracker. Nice long fish. Unreal. He's really skinny actually. He's a bloody greyhound. Now this is for you guys and you guys only. I wouldn't usually pick them up live with hooks in them like this because they are just bad news. So if I get a hook in me, I'm blaming you, but there you go. I didn't go 3 from 3, but 3 from 4 ain't bad. And I can see the rest of his mates down there as well. So this is number 5. I'm gonna drop down, get number 6, and then that is me done. I don't need any more than that. That's plenty for me mates, plenty for me, and I'll get home. But before I do that, what I wanted to do is I'll probably go, whoa! See, that's why. They're crazy little buggers. I want to get back and just go through all the tackle I'm using and a few tactics to attack the poles. So I'll deal with this guy, try and get number 6, and we might go for a little chat. Well, with a bit of luck, number 6 is just about to come say g'day. We'll be back in time for tea and scones. There was plenty there following it as well, and I could see more on the sounder, so as long as they haven't shut down, we should be able to pick another one up pretty easily. Thing with schoolies is they can get a bit oh, crunched. Oh, crunched again. Oh! That was 3 hits and three misses. Thing with schoolies is they can shut down a bit after you pull a couple out of the school. They get a bit touchy, a bit finicky, especially on lures. These guys don't seem to be following that protocol at all. That was 3 hits on the way up. Let's see if we can get him this time. Oh yes! Nailed it. That was like 5 cranks off the bottom. What do we got here? This is a bonito. Oh, we might have a little troll bait here, guys. Bit of a bycatch. Where's a little mac tuna? Oh, it's a little mac tuna. Little pole bycatch. Tiny little mac tuna. Now, it is probably worth talking about the bycatch. You can catch literally anything on these poles. I've caught longtails, I've caught plenty of mac tuna, caught big Spanish mackerel to like 14 kilos, all just doing this. Oh, there's some big stuff down there showing on the sounder. All just doing this, just spinning metal slugs. You catch a schoolie one cast and a 14 kilo Spanish the next. You certainly know about it. Let's see if I can get this guy back. Oh, tuna shake. Righto, see you mate. My jacket. Well, there you go, a bit of bycatch, bit of variety. Might just give the old jacket a bit of a quick clean. Righto, we're down there. Come on, number 6. Oh no, it's fouled. I have a sideways. Oh, struth. Oh no, I got a herring. Well, there you go. That is the bait they're eating. That's a herring, and I just had a school mackerel come up and try and eat the herring off the hook. Little big schools of herring, and that's what they're eating. Surely this is a drop. Here we go, on the bottom. Oh, got him. What have we got? That guy absolutely, crunched it. Yep, another schoolie. He's going hard. He looks to be a good one. He stopped that lure in its absolute tracks. That just came to a complete dead stop. Oh. See if we can pull him in here. And that is another horse. That's probably the biggest of the day. And he hit like it too. Absolute beast. Absolute beast for a schoolie. There you go, guys. There's number 6, and that is the last one I'm gonna catch for today. They don't release very well. They get pretty messed up with the hooks, so there's no point catching and releasing. I just don't think it's very good for them at all. So take enough for a feed. 6 will do me and the mates, and I think it's time to go home. It's 7:15. I think it's time to go get some tea and scones. It's not bad for a morning session. Back in time for brekkie, which is good too, because I only had 2 hours of sleep last night. So yeah, I probably earned a bit of a sleep, a bit of an early mark. And look at that for a nice stack of mackerel. 6 studs. And I think we ended on the biggest one. I might break this ice up a bit. Oh, I might keep it in the bag. That'll cool down nicely. Oh, maybe I will break it up. Get a bit of coverage over them. Well guys, that's a wrap on fishing. Unfortunately, I'd love to stay out here and keep catching them. There's just no need. I've got 6 in a mac tuna and a herring, of course. Got to count the herring. And look, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm gonna head back in, and we'll have a bit of a tackle talk in some protected area here. It's a bit lumpy out here. I don't want to be sitting around here corkscrewing while I'm trying to show you what's what. So I'm gonna cruise back into the passage, and yeah, we might go through some tackle and tactics. That's a pretty good little session. I do want to point out it's not always like this. This is a pretty good morning. Quite often you'll get 1 or 2 off a pole, and then you'll have to move to the next one and the next one, that sort of thing. As you saw, I got 1 off one pole, and then I got 5 off the next. So yeah, it's one of those things. Each day is different, but what I did find, there was a lot more bait on this one than there was on the other one. So keep moving between them. Eventually you'll find the mother lode. Just stay mobile. If there's no fish there, move to the next one. But that doesn't mean there's not going to be fish there soon. I like to just bounce around between them. I'll just pick kind of 5 or so and just do a big loop and then come back to start, because you could go catch 2 off there, come back in half an hour and catch another 5 off there. They just move around, and when the bait gets there, they go hold up in there as well. But we'll talk more about this in some protection. I'm going to get out of the wind and swell. I'm glad I bought this spray jacket. I've got a feeling I'm going to get pretty wet on the way home, so I'm going to pack all the cameras away under cover so we don't get drowned. But I'll see you when we find some calmer water. We can talk tactics. Righto guys, so I'm back in the Pumice-Stone Passage. That's the mainland there. We've got Bribey on the other side of me, tucked in out of the wind. We're going to have a bit of a chat about the tackle. So I think the first thing we'll kick off on is rods and reels. So the rod I use today is the light casting Bone Ocean Thug rod. It is 7'6", it's PE 2 to 4, so it's about 20 to 40 pound. It's got quite a light tip, but heaps of power in the butt here, so perfect for this style of fishing. And I've also got a Twin Power 5000 with 30 pound braid. Now you can fish 20 and 15 pound braid, that's fine. I like to fish a bit heavier because of the bycatch factor. If you hook a 15 kilo longtail or a big Spanish around one of the poles, it's going to take you forever to get it in. The fair chance you're going to get sharked. 30 pound braid means I can dictate terms a bit more in the fight, and it's still plenty light enough for those schoolies as well. Now I guess the main feature of this 5000, yes you can use smaller reels as well, is the speed. 5000 and a high gear ratio, you can retrieve a lot of line really quickly, and the faster you can wind, the more the schoolies like it. They absolutely love a bit of pace. They're like Taylor, you can't wind it fast enough. In fact, if you wind it too slow, they won't look at it, but the faster the better. Now moving on to leader. Today I was using 40 pound, quite often I'll use 30. I've actually run out of 30 back at home, so I didn't have any. Usually I'd use 30, but 40 pounds seemed to work fine today. If you are finding you're getting a few follows but not a heap of hits, or a lot of short sharp hits and not hooking up, you might need to drop down your leader size. They might be getting a bit shy. But I've got that to a mustard fast hatch clip there. See if you can pick that up without back focusing. Fast hatch clip, I'll get a close up later. Fast hatch clip, and that just allows me to change lures really quickly, gives the lure plenty of movement. And then today my lure of choice was a silver Halco Twisty 40 grammer. Now I don't always use the Halco twisties, but they are a pretty damn good lure. I like them because they've got that extra bit of action through the water. They spin, they flash, and I reckon it drives the mackerel absolutely crazy. 40 grams is a good size. Sometimes I like the smaller ones, the 30s. Sometimes you can get away with the bigger ones, the 55s and that sort of thing, but 40 is a good starting point. So I like to bring a variety of sizes, colours and styles. They all have different actions and profiles, and you'll find one day one will work, the next day another will work. They can be quite fussy, so it does pay to have a few with you. You also lose a fair few. You get fish running around the pole and busting you off. You actually hook the pole if you cast too close, the tide will sweep it in, and you'll get snagged and lose them that way. And of course, the infamous bite off. Mackie's got a fair set of chompers on them, and they'll go through leader like no tomorrow, like there's nobody's business. So if they hit the head of that and swipe through, you've got no chance. And yeah, so it is always good to have a few spares with you. I was lucky, I only tied this one on first up, and they were absolutely firing. Didn't even drop a fish actually. Spotties. Schoolies are notorious for shaking hooks, particularly at the boat. I think I got lucky today. I didn't drop one that I hooked. I missed a few hits, which is normal, but usually you'll almost drop 50% of them sometimes, where they get to the boat and they just shake the hooks straight back at you. Usually when you're doing things like I was doing, like just swinging them in without a net, that's a great way to pull the hooks on them. But when you're solo, it can take longer to net them, and they'll shake the hooks anyway doing that way. So sometimes I just take my chances, and today they were pretty aggressive. They were really climbing over the back of that lure and getting all the hooks in properly. So yeah, it works pretty well from that respect. Now, I guess the next thing we'll talk about is which poles to target. Moreton Bay is literally littered with them, and I'd say 90% of them will hold fish at times. As long as there's bait there, it's going to be worth a spin. I find the bait concentrates around poles that have a lot of current flow, so they're getting a lot of water movement through it. I find the bait stages up around it there. They use it, they sit in the eddy, use it for a bit of protection, and in turn that's where you'll find the mackerels. So I've probably done my best spinning from Four Beacons north. I usually target my efforts in the northern end of the bay, but I know they get plenty in the southern bay, especially around the mouth of the Brizzy, around Harry Atkinson's, Peel Island, all that sort of area as well. I just don't go down there as much, but there's definitely fish down there as well, and these techniques will definitely work down there as well. You can catch them on live bait and pillies as well. In my opinion, it's not as fun. It's very effective. They love a bait, well presented bait, particularly a livey, but it's definitely not as fun as cranking a lure flat out and having a mackie absolutely annihilate it on the way back to the boat. I think that's just about it. I don't think there's too much. It's a very simple affair. That's why I love doing it. It's so simple and easy. I literally come out with a box full of slugs. I've got a light outfit there just in case, and my spinning outfit. And look, it's 7:30 now, and I'm back at the ramp. I'm done and dusted. It doesn't always go like that, but sometimes you get lucky and you get a few and you get off the water and in time for tea and scones. But I think what I might do now, guys, I was thinking while I was driving back, is I might do a bit of a filleting tutorial on them as well, and show you one of my secret little tricks with school mackerel. So it's one of my favourite ways to eat them. So this is going to turn into a little catch, clean and cook as well. So yeah, I'm going to chuck the boat back on the trailer. I'm going to get out of here, and we'll pick back up when I get home and I'm at the filleting table. So yeah, it was a good little morning session, guys. I'm glad I came out for it. Righto guys, we're back at the house now. I'm going to fillet up my haul. Now, one thing I do love about schoolies is they are extremely easy to fillet. They've got soft ribcage bones, soft pin bones. Everything just comes away so easy. So I'm going to rip the fillets off this, guys. Nothing crazy about that technique. It's literally just do one side, do the other. It's pretty straightforward, but it's what you do after you got your fillets off that really makes these guys super special. Righto, time to get these knives whirring. Righto, so we've got two beautiful fillets there. They're nothing new about that. Fillets are always going to be awesome, but what's cool with school mackerel is the frame, or the rack as we call it. So grab your knife. You should be able to do this without piercing any of the gut cavity, because you don't want to pierce any of that. Get your knife in behind there and cut up towards the anal fin, and grab the head, grab that out, grab the head, and the frame will pull out the back of the head. Give it a bit of a pull and it'll come. And then with the tail section there, just fold that back and the tail will come off as well. Now, what you've got there is an absolutely prime snack. Mackerel racks. Now, I learnt this off my old man, but you can actually chuck this whole thing on the barbecue and you get a fairly decent meal. All the meat that's between the backbone there, all perfectly good eating. It's actually really sweet. It's really nice meat. So I'm going to collect a few of these guys and we're going to have a little cook up. Well, I thought it was worth pointing out that even the heads and scraps don't go to waste of the old school mackerel. Coming into crabbing season here in southeast Queensland, the blue swimmers are on the move. And these guys will be going straight into my crab pots and hopefully bringing me up a feed of sandies, because I'll tell you what, there's few better things in the ocean better than a feed of fresh sandies. So that hanging in your pot, hopefully full pots. Righto guys, we're in the kitchen. It is master chefing time. Couldn't come too soon either. Getting a bit peckish. This only requires 3 ingredients. We've got a bit of butter, some chili paste, and some minced garlic. But before we make that concoction up, we need to trim up our Mackie racks just to keep the presentation absolutely schmicko. So I'm going to change the camera angle so you guys can see what I'm looking at here. Now you'll notice in the middle of the Mackie rack is the bloodline. That's on the top side of the rib cage there. It runs the whole way down. Now you could scrape that out with a spoon if you wanted to. I don't. I just usually grab the knife because the bones are really soft. Grab a knife and just cut it out. Just run your knife up the inside of the spine. Like so. There's most of your bloodline. And you're pretty clean. I won't even worry about doing anything with that there. That's no meat there, it's all bone, so everything else is pretty clear. If you do have any blood spotting on your fillet, just dab that off with a bit of paper towel. I'll do the rest of these and then we'll whip up our little dressing sauce. Okay, now for the sauce that we're going to spread over before we put it on the barbecue, it's very simple. There is no measurements involved, not one. It's all iometer. You just chuck a bit on, and if it looks about right, you're probably close to the mark. Chili, I don't mind a bit of heat, but I don't want to be breathing fire, so I'm going to go a little bit easier on that. And then I'm going to chuck some butter in as well. Maybe a little bit more butter. And you just want to mix a lot together until it all mixed together and looks something like that. Now what you want to do is grab some spoonfuls, spread across your fish. That's just distribution. We'll get the knife onto it. And then just spread it over. You don't want it too thick because you don't want to overpower the fish and you don't want to lose the flavour of your mackerel. But just so you can see it's coated, will be absolutely perfectly fine. And you only want to do one side too. You'll do the other side while it's on the barbecue. But you want to do that for all your racks. A nice little light coating of your mixture. Righto, and lay them sauce side down on the barbecue plate. Look at that, perfect size. Now these won't take long, they're only thin, so you want to put your sauce on the other side while they're still cooking. They look like they're ready to flip. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh. Tell me that's not getting the mouth watering. Probably another minute on this side and they'll be done. And have a look at that, guys. How good does that look? I'll tell you what, after all that, it is nice to sit back and relax and enjoy the fruits of your labour. You just grab a fork and the flesh will peel right off the bones. It makes the early morning get up that much more worth it, I'll tell you that much. This is absolutely delicious. So while it's hot, look guys, I'm gonna get stuck in and I'll wrap up the rest of the episode shortly. Until then, bon appetit. Surprising amount of meat on here too. A couple of these racks just about do you for a a solid lunchtime feed or a light dinner. It's surprising how much meat is on here. Look at that. Oh, it's so good too. Well, I hope you enjoyed this week's video, guys. It was an absolute cracker morning out in the water. Just remember, if you did want to support the channel, you can do so by subscribing. If you've already done that, give the video a big thumbs up and leave us a comment below. You can also shop for the hats at sammyhitzkefishing.com. Got this one here and this one here. Go check them out and get yourself some cool kit. Till next week, guys, have a good one.